The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Oh, it seems like one could talk about this game forever. It is vast, beautiful, and addictive, giving almost any gamer what they need and keeping them engrossed for hundreds of hours. One of the main features of this game is the hidden quests scattered throughout. Almost every step in the world of The Witcher promises some unexpected but extremely exciting adventure, some interesting quest, and a remarkable story, of course. Even if you are very attentive, try to fulfill all the orders given to you, and look around all the houses in Velen villages, you still will not be able to see all the hidden content in the game on the first playthrough. In any case, you're bound to miss something. On the one hand, it is great because The Witcher 3 can be replayed many times, always giving something new to the scrupulous gamer. But on the other hand though, it is a bit sad because there is always the thought in your head that you missed something important. That is why we have already released 2 videos dedicated to hidden quests in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt game. We have already told you about hidden quests in Velen, Novigrad, and Skellige. Today we will continue this topic and finally tell you about a location overflowing with amazing quests, Kaer Morhen. The home of the Witchers of the School of the Wolf is an ancient centuries-old fortress that has raised more than one generation of monster slayers and has seen much death, pain, and suffering. The walls of this stronghold and the vastness of its surroundings hold many amazing secrets, some of which are only revealed to the most attentive players, to those who have found all the quests hidden in this place. And that's what we're gonna talk about today, because this is the old Witcher. We thank our patrons and our viewers, without whom the videos on our channel will be released less often, and we encourage you guys to join the ranks of these people. But anyway, even a like, a subscription, and a comment mean a lot to us. So do get yourself some snacks, sit back and relax. It's gonna get interesting. Berengar's Blade. The first quest from our list can be obtained only after searching Kaer Morhen. We need to wander into a dilapidated room in the large courtyard of the Witch's fortress. Over there in the very corner, you will notice an inconspicuous chest, and in it you'll find a note with familiar handwriting, that of our old friend, the Witcher Berengar. The letter tells us that Berengar was working on a special sword called Torhern. He had forged it, but it seemed that he had gotten a bit fiddly with the alloys and the blade had literally fallen apart after the first few blows. All because he lost the blueprint for the sword. If you ask Vesemir about Berengar and his work, it turns out that the elderly Witcher was also involved in the creation of Torhern, but this work did not go according to plan. One day when the blade was not yet completed, Berengar went to the valley behind the castle to hunt the Chort who had settled there. For some reason, he decided to take almost all his belongings with him, including the blueprint of the special sword.
Berengar set out to hunt a Chort. The fiend had made its lair in the valley past the keep. Don't know why, but he took all his equipment with him. Maybe thought I'd tinker with his sword while he was gone. You know what he was.
But the Chort was beyond Berengar's grasp. The beast was way too strong, and after the ambush failed, the hapless Witcher had no choice but to run away. He left all his belongings next to the Chort because running away with such a bag on his shoulder is not that easy. He returned to Kaer Morhen empty-handed and disgraced. After that, he became secluded, resented his failure to defeat the Chort, and soon left the Witch's fortress. So all his belongings, along with the blueprint of the unique sword, remained in the Chort's cave. The monster hardly needed them, so they most likely gathered dust there for many years. Vesemir will explain where the cave is located, and the player will only have to go in the described direction, along the river near Kaer Morhen, straight to the Chort's lair. The monster that still lives there is of course incredibly old and powerful and dangerous, so you will have to deal with it. Only after defeating the Chort and searching its cave in one of the nooks and crannies, we will be able to find the Torhern blueprint. And after all this, if the heart desires, we can collect all the ingredients and forge the blade that the Witcher named Berengar once worked on. This is quite an entertaining story with references to the first part of the Witcher game trilogy. It is easy to miss it in Kaer Morhen, but we move on. Triss Merigold's earring. The next interesting thing about Kaer Morhen is even harder to find on the first playthrough because to discover it, you will have to listen carefully to the in-game dialogues and double-check the things you hear via snooping around the game carefully. After all, one of the reasons why fans love The Witcher 3 so much is the incredible attention to detail that the game's developers paid to its world. In one of the dialogues, after Geralt first arrives at Kaer Morhen to join Yennefer and the other Witchers in dispelling the curse from the ugly Uma, Vesemir tells him that the sorceress is in a bad mood She is constantly snapping and has even thrown out of the window the bed where Geralt and Triss used to engage in obvious, interesting activities. So, while scouring Kaer Morhen, Geralt can find that very bed at the foot of one of the towers. It does not stand out as a quest item at all and can simply be overlooked by the average gamer. But after walking up to it and searching it, we get an interesting scene, an entertaining one, that is. When Geralt finds Triss Merigold's earring, which seems to have been lost in the bed back in the good old days. Interestingly, the Witcher can immediately take the earring to the red-haired sorceress. She will be pleased, noting that these are her favorite earrings and that she lost one of them a long time ago. She will ask where the Witcher found it, and when she gets the answer, she will blush a little, remembering the events during which the earring was lost.
Where did you find it?
Kaer Morhen, in a bed. You know the one.
Ah, yes. The good old days.
That is the fascinating thing about Kaer Morhen. Do you guys remember when, why, and how Triss lost her earring? Be sure to post it in the comments. The Bastion. To find the next quest, we need to go to an old ruined building near Kaer Morhen, which used to be the observation bastion of the School of the Wolf. It is located on the opposite side of the mountain for the fortress and is considered cursed. So, while traveling through these ruins and killing the wraiths there, it is very easy to miss the amazing story the game tells us. And in order to discover this story, all we have to do is use Keira Metz's lamp, which shows the fates of long-dead spirits of once living people. In the light of this magical instrument, we will be able to observe the tragic fate of a young Witcher apprentice who was once trained in the Bastion and whose spirit has remained a restless inhabitant of the place. We will see how this boy, along with his peers, was chased around by a strict mentor, how he practiced and learned swordsmanship. But one day, the signal horn sounded. The fortress was attacked by fanatics who had read the pamphlet named Monstrum, or Description of the Witcher. The elderly master went to see what was going on and ordered the children to hide. But hiding from human wrath is impossible. The fanatics destroyed the observation bastion, and under its ruins were buried the fates of young Witchers.
A horn. Something's happening. You're to hide. Wait till I come back. Yes, I know you've trained with swords, but you're still shit with them. I want you behind those rocks, and keep your mouths shut.
Pitchfork. No massacre's complete without one.
We can find the remains of that same boy, collect them, and burn them, and then the curse will leave the ruins of this once highly significant place. Monster Slayer. Next, we move on to the quest called Monster Slayer, which you can stumble upon while walking in the valley near the lake by Kaer Morhen. On the southern shore of this lake, you can spot several mangled bodies of drowners. They just seem to be lying around, and what do we care? But curiosity in the Witcher 3 game is always encouraged. So by checking these corpses out with Witcher senses, we can get an interesting quest. After examining the remains, Geralt will conclude that the drowners were killed by some incredibly strong monster that clearly has no place in the valley of the Witcher's fortress. We can follow this path of mangled bodies and eventually reach the entrance to a cunningly hidden cave. Inside this cave, we will find a very old and large troll. Unlike many of his younger relatives, he does not speak at all. When the troll sees the Witcher, it will immediately attack him, and the monster will have to be killed. Well, when the deed is done, we find that we are in a sort of a troll's house, where it would be foolish not to look around. The beast brought a lot of stuff in there: barrels, debris, dishes. And digging through the junk, you can find not only various trash and a few coins, but also a very interesting letter. This letter is from the time of the Salamandra's attack on Kaer Morhen. It describes the plan of attack on the Witcher's stronghold, the price for the Witcher's heads, and the Salamandra's objectives.
Troll must have nabbed the owner of these before he could reach the fortress. Seems we owe this troll a lot.
The letter is personally signed by Azar Javid and is a very nice reference to the first game in the Witcher series. A reference that is very easy to miss. Greenhouse Effect. The next quest is incredibly interesting and very well designed, but it is extremely difficult to find. This is one of the most carefully hidden quests in the whole game because even after finding it, it is not immediately clear what to do next and how to complete it at all. Our quest is located in the mountains near Kaer Morhen. Walking along a barely noticeable path, we can find that in one place in these very mountains, the weather suddenly changes dramatically, the sun disappears, and a thunderstorm with lightning and all that begins. and the weather anomaly occurs only in this one particular place. There are 3 large stones there that are very strange looking, some alchemical devices and boxes of herbs. It is like a small laboratory. To understand what's going on here, the Witcher must use his legendary Witcher senses, of course. Eventually, we find a note from the resident sorcerer Hieronymus, who seems to have conducted research here. He was friends with the Witchers, and they didn't bother him, but he himself came up with an interesting system. This system consisted of 3 magic-absorbing monoliths, which had to be charged with the energy of different elements, fire and water. As a result of the law of conservation of magical energy, these monoliths emitted a lot of heat, and in one particular place it was possible to create a climate close to tropical. According to this discovery, this area with the tropical climate could be used, for example, to grow exotic plants. This is actually exactly what Hieronymus was doing. Based on the sorcerer's notes, Geralt will conclude that the 2 stones should be struck with the Igni sign and the other one with Ard, and then the stones will be charged again, and the tropical climate will be restored in this place in the mountains. So, of course, why shouldn't we do that? After all the procedures are done, a monster appears nearby, huge Chort. It seems that it was the one who led to the destruction of this laboratory. After defeating it, the Witcher will realize that he has done everything necessary and quite well. Now it is necessary to wait for some time, complete other quests, and then return to this strange place. During these days, in the tropical climate created by Hieronymus, plants that are atypical for this area will grow, which Geralt will be happy to collect. Then the task will be considered completed. This is one kind of an interesting thing in the neighborhood of Kaer Morhen that you can only stumble upon if you know about it or just by accident.
Hey, got ourselves a botanical garden.
The Witcher's Forge. But this is not the end of the hidden quests of Kaer Morhen. After all, wandering around the abandoned part of the Witch's Fortress, we can find a strange wall. At a detailed inspection of it, it turns out that it is just an illusion. Using the Eye of Neheleni, we're able to remove this magical barrier. It's obviously here for a reason and has a secret behind it. And that secret lies in a book called Monstrum, or A Portrayal of Witchers, Volume 2. Geralt, as always, would have simply burned this vile propaganda, but only in the text itself were a couple of handwritten lines with the following content. The book is a key. The mines near Kaer Morhen. Following the instructions in the book, we can find an abandoned mine near Kaer Morhen. Over there, this book must be placed on a special pedestal, and then the door to a special place will open. A real witch's forge. A forge that has been abandoned, but where the fire still burns. Why is that? Approaching the forge, the Witcher suddenly hears a voice. The flames themselves speak to him. No, this is not the result of poisonous vapors. It is an Ifrit, the spirit of fire that has been here since time immemorial.
I am fire. This forge is soul. I am the flame that tempers steel.
This forge once belonged to a man named Radmir of Tor Karned, and it seems he enslaved the Ifrit that guarded this place from uninvited guests. Later, witches came here and used the Ifrit's power for their own purposes, and with the decline of the School of the Wolf, the magical place became derelict. Witcher Geralt of Rivia remembered that the sorcerer Radmir had been killed during Falka's rebellion. He spoke it aloud, and it seemed to have made the Ifrit very angry, so it showed up in physical form and attacked the uninvited guest. The Ifrit must be killed, and then the quest will be completed. At the end, you can take the master-crafted woven armor, which was crafted in this forge with the help of the Ifrit. It is located in the secret room of the forge behind another wall of illusion. Well, we as the Old Witcher team would like to ask you guys, our viewers, to simply subscribe to the channel, give a like to this video, write a comment, and click on the bell. You don't even need to cook anything. We thank our patrons, without whose support the videos on our channel will be released less often and less eagerly. You can also support the project on Patreon or become a sponsor right here on YouTube. Anyway, write in the comments what quests in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt are the most memorable for you guys. Thanks to every viewer for every view, and see you soon. We'll hear from you guys when the Old Witcher speaks once more.